Today I'm going to be comparing three pens, the Zebra F-701, the Fisher Space Pen Cap-O-Matic in matte black, and the Parker Jotter in stainless steel. Just to preface this, I want to say that I am not an expert in pens by any means. These were three pens that I purchased in 2016 after doing some research to try and find some affordable pens that were still nicer than your average pen. So that being said, let's get into it. I'm going to start off with a quick price comparison. These are current prices from Amazon as of me shooting this. The Zebra is $858, the Fisher Space Pen is $2083, and the Parker Jotter is $1495. I did want to add that the Space Pen in chrome, which would be a little bit more direct comparison, would actually be $28. So I'm going to go ahead and click the actions on each of these and kind of give a quick comparison of that. The Zebras, it feels good, it feels smooth, it's not overly loud. The Fisher Space Pen, a little bit less satisfying maybe than the Zebra. That might just be personal preference, but it feels a little bit more loose to me, and I'm actually not really a fan of the Cap-O-Matic. It just doesn't feel very ergonomic, because basically when you press it, rather than just having a button on the end like the others, like most pens, when you press the end, the whole faux cap will move up and down, which if you're holding the pen in kind of a standard position, it moves under your hand where you'd normally be gripping it. Not a big deal, but I just don't think that that's an ideal design. And finally, the Parker Jotter. So the Parker Jotter, I would say, is a little bit more aggressive. It's similar to the Zebra, but it's a little bit louder. And in my opinion, I think it's a little bit much. I kind of prefer the Zebra's quieter action. As far as feel in hand, you'll notice that both of these on the bottom, the Fisher and the Parker Jotter, are kind of a similar shape. The Parker is a little bit more extreme, but it's kind of got that really sleek, tapered, slimline shape. It looks really nice. I will say I am not a huge fan of how these feel in hand. They just are a little bit too tapered to the end where I'm holding it for my liking. I do actually prefer the in-hand feel of the Zebra, having that full width where you're gripping it, and in addition it has texturing on the stainless steel. So it just, to me, it fills up that space better, and it just feels better in my hand. So I do prefer the feel in hand when writing of the Zebra. Between the clips, I prefer the Zebra. It returns in on itself. It's very easy to slide over things. I think that both the Space Pen and the Jotter, they're a little bit sharper, so it's just not quite as smooth. In addition, the Jotter actually is kind of pokey at the end. It's sort of pointy, which again, ergonomically, it's not a great feeling on your finger if you kind of catch it. Space Pen doesn't have that same problem, but I definitely prefer the Zebra clip. So I ordered all three of these, but for the reasons I've pretty much covered, I preferred the Zebra, and therefore I used it on a regular basis when I was doing field work for years, and I never had any issues with it, and I've used them plenty. This one was in the drawer for quite some time. I pulled it out, it wrote fine. The Fisher, actually, after I decided I wasn't going to carry it, I threw it in my truck. I might have used it a couple times to jot things down on a notepad in my truck, but it's been quite some time. My truck for many years was not in a garage, so there were a lot of temperature variations. And when I pulled this out of my truck today for this review, I wrote and it worked right away. The Jotter, I also decided I wasn't going to use. And so I stuck it in a notebook and I never touched it, and I pulled it out today and it will not write. So that's not to say that that is unexpected for a pen that's been sitting unused for years, but that's just my personal experience with the 3. The final thing I will touch on is just overall appearance. Of course, this is going to be subjective. I do actually like the Jotter here just for sleekness. If I was having a pen just to have a fancy pen for, I guess, special occasions or whatever you might want a fancy pen for, I think that it looks the fanciest, I guess you could say, the sleekest, the most premium. The Zebra is a little bit more utilitarian looking. The Fisher is fairly unremarkable appearance-wise, but some people may prefer that. And it does come in many different colors and finishes, if that's something you're interested in. In conclusion, the Zebra is the least expensive. I like the action on it, I like the clip, I like the way it feels in hand, and that's the one that I would use every day. I think that the Jotter would be my choice if I wanted something for whatever you might consider a special occasion or a little more fancy situation or scenario. And the Fisher, finally, I would say there's nothing necessarily wrong with it, but it's not one that I would choose for its looks or its functionality. So for me, it's worked well to have in my truck. And as far as reliability is concerned, I'm impressed that after sitting in my truck for so many years, it still functioned right away. I'll go ahead and put links in the description to all 3 of these on Amazon if you're interested in checking them out.